Hello. It's Wednesday, week 6, which means final integration, making sure everything works, get your robot done, give it to the software team so they can do their programming, and give it to the drive team so they can drive and practice and all that stuff. Okay, so this is Pizza Hut pizza. I've got some chicken pizza and I got a pepperoni pizza. Today, actually, FedEx bought us all pizza because that's one of the perks you get, I guess, when you ship out 15,000 packages since January 1st. So. Like I said, it was week 6. We did have a couple special guests today. We've got Steven from 292. He was a student at one time. Now he's a college mentor on Panther Tech 292. And we have Scott from Team 829, the Digital Goats. He's been mentoring that team for 40 or 50 years, right?
Not quite as long as you, but
almost. Actually, someone told me you guys both have robots that were overweight. So what did you do? What happened?
So yeah, we weighed a robot last Saturday, and then we found that we were 145 pounds. And so that kind of got us a little scared because with about a week left, we had a lot of tough decisions to make. And so we kind of went back to the basics. We looked at what our goals were for the game, and we kind of based it off of what we needed to cut. And so our goals were to do the have 3 climb, and so we really wanted to keep that mechanism on a robot. And then we had hatches as next and then balls down the line later. But then we also found out that we could cut off a large amount of our weight by getting rid of our mechanic wheels. And so we ended up switching those out for 6-inch high grips. And then that, along with cutting off some spare screw ends and replacing some other parts in the robot, we got within 3 pounds of the limit. So we're pretty happy about it. Just because we still have some wiggle room to build some more stuff with the time that we have left.
So you got to be 3 pounds under.
3 pounds under, yes.
That's impressive. So what do you guys do?
we're still working on it. The practice robot was 124 and a half, with not everything on it. The Combot will be lighter. It's some lighter components, some Delaware instead of aluminum, minor things like that. We've taken some stuff off and given up on things. You have to make decisions.
Yeah, it's tough.
Our HAB 3 climb is going to be completely different. We used some aluminum bolts. We absolutely did. We got those free. One of our mentors works at Fastenal. So some of those, they were actually in the recall bin. So it's like, think about it.
People have asked us to carry aluminum bolts a few times, maybe during other week 6s. Do you guys have aluminum bolts? But if you want to save a pound or two, that wouldn't be a bad thing to go seek out. We don't carry them. I would recommend McMaster and Fastenal and those types of places to find aluminum bolts. Not a high load joint. You can use an aluminum rivet and save a lot of room there, save a lot of weight there.
We go about a couple hundred rivets from Fastenal. Here, give us more all the time.
Yeah.
We went into our local Fastenal store down in Westfield and said, hey, this is what we're doing. We're at part of the Westfield High School. We're doing this cool robot project. And they gave us a wicked discount on the 900 some odd rivets that we bought from them this year. So they're really, really good, very personable, very easy to talk to. If you talk to them, say, hey, this is what we're doing, there's a chance, they might give you a discount too. So Fastenal is really, really good company to work with.
Don't assume things work exactly like you plan when you're doing your final systems integration. Make sure you're testing things out as soon as you can, because you might be surprised, like some teams were last night. Was it last night? Our team figured out that the over-the-bumper intake that we're working on was a little bit underpowered. So we've got a new solution from what I hear, but you got to get your electronics done. Those of you who are still struggling to get everything together, get your electronics at least in place so you can make sure you're not surprised when you go up to wire it and you don't have room for your power distribution board, or if you're doing pneumatics, your pump, you got to figure out where your pump goes, all that stuff.
Like things powered on and get the firmware on your Talons and Victors or whatever you're using up to date.
Oh, CAN IDs,
CAN IDs, all of that.
Oh, I said the programmers have to have a robot this weekend, even if it's not finished. getting those CAN IDs, getting subsystems, even just because motor turns, even nothing's attached to it, you know it turns.
Yeah.
It's just critical. You can't make them do it at the event. It's too hard. It's too hard.
One of the most frustrating things at doing inspection is going through the inspection and learning that your firmware for your Rio and your driver station and all those things are last year's versions. And I'm not a programmer, so I'm not up to speed with that stuff, but I'm sure there's new versions for 2019 for those items. So make sure your versions of your old hardware is up to speed. Don't assume that the hardware that's on your robot has a new version on it. It doesn't just happen magically. So you got to make sure your software guys and gals have access to that stuff. Now is the time of the year when there is some panicking that happens. There's some freaking out. There's some frustrations, and it's just a robot competition. Come on now. I mean, it's try to get everything done as you can. If you're not going to get everything done before bag day, especially those teams who missed a lot of days, I would recommend just agree within your team at your priorities of what you got to get done before bag day. I think Scott said it well. Is make sure your software team has ability to update things and test things out. Keep in mind you have 30-pound weight allowance. You can hold back 30 pounds, bring it in with you at the event. So if your gripper or your hatch grabber or your whatever isn't done and it's under 30 pounds, pull it off the robot. Don't bag it and figure it out. You don't have to bag your bumpers. You don't have to bag your operator control system. You got a lot to work on after bag day.
If you're overweight by just a little bit, the ones weigh more than the zeros in the code. So if you write the whole thing to zeros, you can drop a little bit. It's not much, but a little bit.
This false software information brought to you by Mechanical Engineering.
You can also put helium in your pneumatic tires. That might help you just a fraction of a...
Or put a wedge under the scale at inspection.
So be safe. Have fun this weekend. Appreciate your teammates. Don't freak them out. And plan in a little bit of fun while you're working your 12 hours, 14 hours per day. And we will see you next week on Monday. Oh, today's not Friday.
The calendar strikes again.
I was doing so well. So be safe. Have fun. Have a good week. And we'll see you on Friday.
And welcome to Lunch with Rexy. I'll guarantee you, Andy Market's got something special in line just for you. Hey, we make wheels, we make bearings, we make stuff up.